Here's something nobody talks about. Every single person in business knows what they should be doing. Cold calling, following up, building relationships, improving skills, staying disciplined. Everyone knows. But if you look at actual results, at real numbers, at who's actually winning, you'll notice something disturbing. Most people aren't doing what they know they should be doing. Not consistently, anyway. They do it for a week, maybe a month. Then life happens, motivation fades, and they're back to square one. And here's the brutal truth. In business, knowing means nothing. Doing means everything. But doing once means nothing either. It's doing it again, and again, and again, when nobody's watching, when nobody cares, when it's boring, repetitive, and unrewarding. That's consistency. And it's the rarest commodity in the business world. So why can't most people maintain it? The disappearance of external structure. Let's rewind a bit. 50 years ago, consistency wasn't really a choice. It was built into the system. You showed up to the factory at a.m. You clocked in. You did your job. You clocked out. You repeated it for 40 years. Then you retired. The structure was external. Someone else designed your day. Your boss watched you. Your paycheck depended on showing up. Consistency was enforced. Fast forward to today. Remote work, gig economy, entrepreneurship, side hustles, digital nomads. You can work from anywhere, anytime, however you want. Sounds like paradise, right? Except there's a hidden cost. When external structure disappears, you need internal structure, and most people don't have it. A study from the University of Chicago found that self-employed individuals are 3.5 times more likely to experience burnout than traditionally employed workers. Not because they work less, because they lack consistent routines. They work in bursts, intense sprints followed by crashes, chaos, followed by paralysis. And in sales, it gets worse. According to research from Gong.io, only 24% of salespeople consistently hit their quota, not because 76% are incompetent, but because 76% can't maintain daily discipline when nobody's forcing them to. They prospect when they feel like it. They follow up when they remember. They prepare when they're nervous, and then they wonder why their results are unpredictable. Let's zoom into something specific. A few years ago, a private equity firm acquired a mid-sized software company. Standard deal. The firm wanted to scale revenue fast. They brought in consultants, analyzed everything, and found something shocking. The top 10% of the sales team generated 80% of the revenue. Classic Pareto principle, right? But here's the twist. These top performers weren't smarter. They didn't have better territories. They didn't even have more experience. The only difference? Their calendar. The top performers had the exact same calendar every single week. Same prospecting blocks. Same follow-up times. Same client check-ins. Like clockwork. The bottom 90%, their calendars were chaos. Reactive. Improvised. I'll do it when I have time. The firm implemented one single change. Forced calendar structure for everyone. Same blocks. Same times. No exceptions. Revenue jumped 30% in 6 months. Same people, same product, same market, just consistency. Now, compare that to something like Starbucks. Howard Schultz didn't build an empire on better coffee. He built it on absolute consistency. Every store, every drink, every experience. Predictable, reliable, boring even. And that's precisely why it works. People don't want surprises with their morning coffee. They want the same thing, done right, every single time. In business, surprise is overrated. Reliability is priceless. The hidden epidemic. Now here's where it gets really interesting, because inconsistency doesn't just hurt individuals. It creates a systemic crisis. Walk into most companies, and you'll see it everywhere. Projects that start strong and die quietly. Initiatives announced with fanfare, abandoned without explanation. Strategies that change every quarter. It's organizational ADHD. A Stanford study on corporate performance found that companies with high strategic consistency, meaning they stick to their plan, outperform competitors by 58% over 5 years. 58%. not because their strategy was brilliant, but because they actually followed through. Meanwhile, the average company changes strategic direction every 18 months, not because the market changed, but because leadership got bored, or impatient, or distracted by the next shiny trend. And employees? They stop believing in anything. They've seen it before. The new initiative, the big speech, the excitement. They know it'll be forgotten in 3 months. There's a concept in military strategy called fog of war. It's the chaos, confusion, and uncertainty that happens in battle. Most armies panic in the fog. They improvise. They react. They make emotional decisions. Elite forces? They stick to the protocol, no matter what, because the protocol was designed for the fog. Business is the same. The market changes. Competitors attack. Customers complain. Economy shifts. And that's when inconsistent people crumble. Because they were relying on conditions being perfect. Consistent people? They already planned for imperfection. Their system accounts for bad days, difficult clients, slow months. They don't need ideal conditions. They have a protocol. If this is hitting home, do me a favor. Hit that like button and subscribe. We're diving deep into what actually separates winners from everyone else, and you don't want to miss what's coming. The failed fixes. So what do most businesses do when they recognize this problem? They try to motivate their way out of it. Bonuses, incentives, contests, leaderboards, motivational speakers, team building retreats, and it works for about 2 weeks. Then everyone's back to their old habits. A research paper from the London School of Economics analyzed 51 studies on employee incentive programs. Their conclusion? Financial incentives produce short-term behavior change, but rarely create lasting habits. Why? Because motivation is emotional, and emotions fluctuate. You can't build consistency on feelings. You need systems. Look at McDonald's. Ray Kroc didn't motivate his way to billions. He systemized. Every burger cooked the same way. Every fry salted exactly the same. Every process documented to the second. Boring? Absolutely. Profitable? Obscenely. Or take Toyota and their famous production system. They're not looking for rock stars. They're looking for people who can follow the process precisely, every single time. And when someone finds a better way, they don't celebrate the individual. They update the system, so everyone benefits. That's the difference between companies that scale and companies that stay small. Small companies rely on heroes. Big companies rely on systems. Heroes are inconsistent. Systems are forever. The crisis ahead. And now, we arrive at the present moment. And the future. Because if maintaining consistency was hard before, it's about to become nearly impossible. We're living in the most distracted era in human history. Infinite scroll, algorithmic feeds, notifications designed by neuroscientists to hijack your dopamine. Every app competing for your attention like your life depends on it. And it works. Boy, does it work. A study from Gloria Mark at UC Irvine found that the average person switches tasks every 3 minutes. 3 minutes. And it takes 23 minutes to fully regain focus after an interruption. Do the math. Most people never reach deep focus. Ever. They're just bouncing between shallow distractions all day. And then they wonder why they're not making progress. Add artificial intelligence to the mix, and things get even more complex. AI can automate tasks. It can provide instant information. It can optimize processes. But here's what it can't do. It can't make you show up. It can't make you do the boring work. It can't force you to be consistent. In fact, AI might make consistency even more valuable, because when everyone has access to the same tools, the same information, the same capabilities, what's the differentiator? Execution, repetition, consistency. The person who uses the AI tool every single day will destroy the person who uses it sporadically, no matter how smart the second person is. There's a quote from investor Naval Ravikant that captures this perfectly. All the benefits in life come from compound interest. And compound interest requires time and consistency. You can't compound inconsistency. You just reset to zero every time you stop. So let's circle back to the core question. Why is consistency so rare? Because it's unglamorous. Because it doesn't generate likes, shares, or viral moments. Because nobody's impressed by someone doing the same thing every day. We celebrate the launch, not the maintenance. We celebrate the sprint, not the marathon. We celebrate the flash, not the grind. But in business, the grind wins. Every single time. The companies that dominate aren't the ones with the best ideas. They're the ones that execute good ideas consistently for years. The salespeople who crush quota aren't the most charismatic. They're the ones who prospect every morning, whether they feel like it or not. The entrepreneurs who build wealth aren't lucky. They're disciplined. And while everyone's chasing hacks, shortcuts, and growth hacks, a quiet minority just keeps showing up, day after day, week after week, year after year, without drama, without excuses, without applause, and they win. Not sometimes, always. So where do you stand? Are you part of the consistent few or the distracted many? Drop your honest answer in the comments. If this video challenged how you think about success, smash that like button, share it with someone who needs to hear this, and subscribe to the channel. We're here to uncover the performance secrets that most people know but refuse to apply. The question is, will you be different?